Hello everybody. Gage says it's empty. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Today I do appreciate you stopping by. Today's beer comes from 4 Quarters Brewing. They're up in Vermont. This is their Phaze, P-H-A-Z-E, and that black label and not very bright writing on it. It's very hard to read, very hard to see, probably from the camera's view here. This was sent to me by my brother Greg. He goes to these places up there in New England and picks up some awful tasty beers, and I do appreciate it. So Greg, thank you. I do appreciate the very nice beer mail package you sent the other day. This, according to the can and according to the letter that he sent, right on the bottom of the can here, it says an American Pale Ale, 6.5% alcohol by volume. There is no date on the bottom of it, and he mentions that in the letter. He says, ladies from 4 Quarters picked this APA, American Pale Ale, up at the brewery on a recent trip to Vermont. No date on the can. So, this was picked up at the brewery, so that's as fresh as it can be. He doesn't tell me when he picked it up, but he just says on a recent trip to Vermont, and he knows the deal. I mean, he sends these things to me as fresh usually as he gets them. So I imagine when he got back from his trip, he boxed these up and shipped them right out. So I wish these guys would take their stuff. I mean, even though whether it's brewery only release or not, there are brewery only releases from other breweries that they date their stuff. So they want you to have it as fresh as possible, and I wish they would do it. So, and if it's being distributed anywhere, that's a big no-no, not having a date on it. So I don't know what their distribution is. When I went to Beer Advocate, they've got it listed as a New England IPA. What? Really? Seriously? Can't you read what's on the bottom of the can? It's right on the label. And the picture they've got on the site here, on the same can, I can see it says American Pale Ale. But yet they have it listed as a New England IPA. Boy, it must be some good shit they smoking. Really. So, let's jump over to Untappd, where they usually have more correct information, but not always. When I go over there, 6.5% new IBUs, and they've got it listed as an IPA American. What? I just don't understand what they can't figure out when it's written. And the picture's on the can, even on that site, and it says American Pale Ale right on the bottom of it. I mean, why they have to list it as an IPA, I have not a clue, guys. I do not know. Seems like there's a lot of people need to get their eyes checked, because it says it right on the can. Now, if it wasn't written on the can anywhere, and you were just tasting it and trying to figure out what it was without going to the brewery's website, it may be tough sometimes. But when it's written on the can, and then they have that can on there, and they're calling it something different other than what's on the can, I don't understand that. But anyway, enough ranting and raving. Let's get on with this. Once again, thanks to Greg for picking up these beers. I do appreciate it, sir. You send me some very, very tasty beer, sir, and it is very much appreciated. So, with that being said, we've got the ABV. We don't have a date, but it is as fresh as more likely that I can get one down here. That's for sure. So, and it is a big 16-ounce can. So, without further ado, let's get it open and see what comes out. And see if it's a New England style American Pale Ale, not an IPA. Very cloudy coming out, very hazy. Though that, that may be the reason when people pour this out of the can or look at it in the glass, it may look like a New England style beer, but it doesn't have to be an IPA. It can be an American Pale Ale and be very cloudy, hazy, New England style looking. So just because it looks like this doesn't have to be called an IPA. It could be a New England style American Pale Ale. I didn't have to go to college for that either. Imagine that. So about a finger and a half of head on that pour, guys. It looks like orange juice. It looks like a New England style IPA. So to me, it's a New England style American Pale Ale. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call it. So very nice. Very cloudy. Very hazy. Definitely an unfiltered beer. To the nose we go. Wow. I'm getting a little bit of dankness. It's very tropically. It's got a spicy aroma to it, like they've used maybe some Southern Hemisphere hops. Big time grapefruit pineapple. Pine. Smells really, really pleasant. Got a wonderful aroma. A little bit different than a typical New England style beer, whether it's an IPA or an American Pale Ale. But I am getting some spicy notes. So let's dive in. The head is dissipating. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Greg. The shirt's getting baggy on me now. About to fall off of me. That's very, very pleasant. A lot of pineapple, grapefruit spiciness is what I'm getting on this beer. Very, very pleasant. Very smooth. The alcohol is well hidden for a 6.5%. Just a little bit different. Doesn't have a lot of big bitterness on it. I'll be a good one if you're trying to get into an American Pale Ale and the IPAs seem to be a little too bitter for you. The Pale Ales are usually a little lower in the IBUs. And this looks like a New England style IPA, but is it a Pale Ale? What don't you understand about that? I keep telling you, boy. So let's get the back end pour in here. We'll swirl around just in case there's any settling. I don't see how it could possibly change the appearance any. Probably reinforce that head pretty good there when I swirl that around in the can like that. But it does look like a glass of orange juice, guys. A very appealing to me looking American Pale Ale. New England style, if you will. Well, let's up on this. It's right out of the fridge. I'm going to come back and give it a grade. What do you think? I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Got a little bit left here. Very tasty Pale Ale. A lot of hop aroma and taste. To me, big time pineapple and grapefruit. A little bit of spiciness. I don't know what hops they've used, whether they've used some Southern Hemisphere hops in it, but it's reminding me of that with the spiciness I'm getting. The alcohol's well hidden. It doesn't have a lot of bitterness. A very nice Pale Ale. A very pleasant Pale Ale. Almost to the go-to range, it being at 7%. This is only 6.5%, but I would probably buy this beer being what it is. It's very, very tasty. And I'm getting the big time off the chain hop aroma and taste, which is what I love. So it'd be a good one to transition into something in this style that doesn't have a lot of bitterness. So final chug. Very, very enjoyable. So New England style Pale Ale, if you will. So enjoyed this. Very pleasant. Greg, thanks again. I do appreciate it. To me, guys, since it doesn't have a date on it, even though it was bought at the brewery, they need to do that. There are a lot of other breweries that are brewery only releases. They don't distribute. They date their stuff. So I think they need to step up to the plate and do that. So if it had a date on it, it would probably get an A. Since it doesn't, it gets an A minus. I'm gonna give it 94, close as I can give it to being an A minus without being a solid A. And like I said, if it had a date on it, it would get the solid A from me. So, over to Beer Advocate, they say 4.13 exceptional. It is a very, very tasty beer. And over to Untappd, they have it at 4.1. So basically, it's unanimous. It's an A minus beer, guys. Definitely worth giving it a try, especially if you want to get into this style, the hazy, cloudy, orange juice looking beer without all the bitterness that the IPAs have and double IPAs have. So, very well done. Get a dating machine, guys. Come on, step up to the plate. Do the right thing. So, if you've had this from Four Quarters Brewing, this is their Phaze, which is an American Pale Ale, but in a New England style. So, if you had it, let me know what you think. Till we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.